Hallelujah. Once again, I'd like to welcome you to Hallelujah. Once again, bazalwane, ngicela kunemukela ku the Den Radio. This is our first edition of Real Talk with Mr. N. And njengoba besengishilo, sitabe sikhulumisa indzaba ye-Valentine's Day today. Nyalo ke etinzanjeni ngale ngasembabani ngiphethe our lovely couple bakamamba as per our invitation. Ngitawucela nje ukuthi Bomvulini, can you please introduce yourselves ukuthi nibobani, niqhamukaphi, kanjalo kanjalo.
Siyabonga Msuthu, sivusele kubalaleli namuhla, sivusele bathandekayo egameni lenkosi yethu Jesu. Ngingusibongosi mina ngwakamamba. Mina akade khulumele bathandekayo.
Sanibonani bazalwane. Sivusele kuwe nawe Msuthu le khashane emhlume ekupheleni kwelive. Nginguzinhle, originally ngwakaKhumalo, but then sengaba wakamamba. Thank you for having us.
Amen. Ngiyalithanda lela originally. You don't forget your roots. Now, Skelен Bomamba, we understand you are married. How long have you been married? And please take us through your love journey. Where did you guys meet? And yeah, nizen fika lan kona kona.
Angicale Msuthu. Basically, we met in varsity during our varsity days. We got engaged Nangi Tsetamine, my first degree. We got married in 2014, August 16. It's been 6 years. This is the 7th year of our marriage. We've been blessed with 2 boys. 1 3, 1 Lona, 1 year old. So maybe that is the summary of our journey.
So where did you guys meet?
We met in 2008. Yes. 2008, Msuthu, I was doing my very first year in varsity. He was doing his 3rd year in the same course, Mbabane campus. Kahle kahle nje. Yes, we met through a mutual friend, Mr. Mandisa Cinzi. Yeah, so that's where we met, Eskolweni, and it's been love ever since, I suppose.
Oh, okay. So can we safely say it was love at first sight?
No.
Was it?
It wasn't love at first sight. It was friendship before love. It was friendship before love. Satana. We got to be friends before we got to be lovers. Although the transition didn't take a very long, but there were a couple of months of friendship before lovers.
Yes.
Okay. I understand, Gutsi, if a relationship is transition from being a friendship to a love relationship, a romantic relationship, there are many complications because you find that you confide in each other as friends, you know each other's things, but then how did you guys treat Leo transition? Gutsi, you were friends and then nangumngani wakho Zinhle so yakujikela nyalo sokutshela ukuthi uyakuthanda.
Akuqale mina Msuthu nayo tati khulumela how she found it. I think for me it was beneficial because there is the background when you kickstart a relationship, there are a lot of dark spots, so to speak, or hidden things that you find ukuthi if you are kickstarting a romantic relationship, kulukhuni lokuba transparent ngato from the onset. That is why you discover ukuthi some of the things you find long into the journey of that relationship. So noma courtships, so to speak, sebenzisele lo gama namuhla. So ukhanza ukuthi ngalo ukuthi nami I'm interested in starting a relationship with this person. I'm unconsciously trying kuveta a side of me that is probably good. Hayi ukuthi ngenda mabomu but nje ngiyaticoca vele nangisembi komuntu that I'm quoting. So kuba naleyo background leyo kanzi kule platform singele sahlangana ngayo as friends, sharing a mutual friend. Kwenda lokho ukuthi kube nale transparency nalokucoca nalokukhuluma loku open noma si song 3 with the mutual friend ukhanza ukuthi siyakhuluma si open, and by the time this thing evolved wakhanza ukuthi a lot of those things that betinga abalukhuni ukuthi khuluma upfront if this started out as a romantic relationship were already out there. So more or less you had an idea, noma phela vele time reveals other things, but you had an idea what you were stepping into a bit more holistically than you would have mhlawumbe if you just met this person and were interested in knowing them because you already were interested in or starting a romantic relationship. That is my background. Angathi yena ukuthi ucabanga ukuthini no Sisifo eceleni kwami.
No, I totally agree, Msuthu. It made things easier. It made things daba, even though njengoba umuva nje ukuthi ukhuluma kamnanzi kwani. It was very, very easy to transition from the friendship to the romantic relationship aspect of it. So yeah, I think it for me, I would say it's the best way to start any relationship. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just. I think this one is just off our topic for today. But I'm just curious. Would you advise young people to have male friends? Do all different sex friendships, should they all transit into romantic relationships?
Tough one, Msuthu. Tough one. Okay, maybe ngicale from la sibuya khona. I think also on the friendship aspect when Msuthu, I would say she would mhlawumbe angadisagreeisha nalo lengitakusho nyalo, but I think I was more forthcoming with information as a friend than she was. When we started the romantic relationship, there was more of what I didn't know about her than what she didn't know about me. So for me, I was more transparent than she was. Yeah, probably. She was playing safe. Now, in terms of transitioning of friendships to relationships, angathi Msuthu what people would prefer. I think kukhona lobungani lobuvele bubungani lobune motive from the onset. We would say I'm befriending you because I'm trying to find out more about you so that I can start a romantic relationship, of which lobungani lobukanjalo ngibo lobutawenda ngidlale safe mine lenginaleyo intention. So being a friend with someone doesn't necessarily mean that you know them. So that is why sometimes umuntu nawufuna kumati, it works to observe a bit from afar as a start, because nangabe mina ngita kupartner Msuthu ngoba sengivele ngifuna kuqala a relationship. Mhlambe yena ngete akwati lokho, so they may be more forthcoming with information and a bit more transparent, but I wouldn't be as transparent because I'm interested in certain things. Bese kuba khona ke naloko ukuthi They for a romantic relationship to be there has to be love. And ufuna kube luthando kungabi ukuthi two people are sebajwayelene, now it's evolving to a relationship. So it must be very good the love is there. We not just, it's not like because you are friends now you must get into a romantic relationship and marry each other. I love this person. So what actually happened is as we were friends, I learned a lot of valuable characteristics that I discovered I loved. Because at the time, it's not like it was physical attraction to start with, you see. But as I got to know her, there was this thing. It was wow, this person has these characteristics that I like, that I love, and then I decided, no, this person I think would make a beautiful wife. I didn't think I would make a good husband to this person. So I was selfish. I thought, okay, this person would make a good wife to me. So that is how it started. So it's something that you'd recommend for someone else or not. I think that is a tough one for me to answer.
Z, do you share the same sentiments?
I do actually. Well, to get back to the question, do we believe every friendship has the potential to evolve into a romantic one? I, for one, had a lot of male friends when we met. I think kwabuya like tenini bengihawukela kuba nabhuti lomdzala. I'm the firstborn ekhaya. So I had a lot of male friends, and I want to believe they were genuine friendships. So, well, wafika ke yena babemamba and they dispersed. Because I think a huge portion of him, a huge part of him doesn't believe in having Emma friendships probably that close.
I don't.
You and me both, Mvulin. Don't worry, same WhatsApp group.
Yeah, but the nice thing about it is there was nothing hidden about them. He knew about them. He knew ukuthi nangikhuluma ngazi bani. He's a friend. Nangithi ngisatobamba lithunu uma ngisatoshayela bani. He's a friend. He's a genuine friend. Uyabo. It's just that kumbe sikhwele senu angisani iBhayibheli liyakhuluma ngesikhwele senu ukuthi hayi no. Asisiso lesi engosini. So yeah, it's not every friendship.
It's being territorial.
But if I'm totally transparent about it, I don't believe there is anything you should be worried about. But then, yeah, story for another day. Like you said, akukho kule lineup yakho bosogcumgelisa nje msuthu.
Okay, no thanks. Can I ask this question? I know we've been with you guys on some out of church gatherings, and normally this question is iba controversial, but I want you guys to put it out there. Who made the first move?
Naming votes are like
who was interested first again?
Labo interest ngemsuthu angibathi ngoba bahlala enhlitweni. We've always had an argument about that. On that point we don't agree. Which we had interest first, but I made the first move. It's in a and we still believe in the old-fashioned way of doing things.
Yes, he was interested first, Msuthu.
For argument's sake.
I beg to differ.
Now, you guys, can you please help us define Lenza by El Tambo in your own understanding and defining your own journey? What is love? Bengengasho before to our listeners, Gutsi, people have been abused all in the name of love. And at the same time, Jesu watsi, the only thing that you have to owe each other is love. So kahle kahle, how can you define love in perspective to your own journey?
Bathi angiqale Msuthu.
Ladies first.
Ngicela kuphinza emagama emfundisi Thwala. I think he's the one person that has actually made me understand love very, very well compared to all the books that I've read and everything else that I've heard. Umfundisi Thwala wake wakhuluma ngokuthi luthando is giving. I think in just one word, love is giving. I think in all the years that we've been together, Sipitao, both courtship and marriage, I think nothing better defines love than giving. You give your forgiveness, you give yourself to the person. In terms of
Do I give money?
well, yes, of course. You give everything as long as you umbona lo munye ukuthi ujabulile. I think that is what love for me defined briefly. And I think over the years in our relationship, but in our relationship, uthi tena kachaza umfundisi wethu ngakubona kakhulu kubaba mamba rather than myself. He literally give anything, even his peace, just to see the next person ajabulile. So it's just giving. You give yourself, you give your sometimes even your peace, short-lived peace though. You give your peace, you give your money, you give your you give your time. I am a quality time kind of person. So now you've given me your all. Sometimes you give your energy. I need more energy than anything else right now. So that's love for me. So it's just giving. Give. That is love. And do not expect anything in return.
Okay.
Because Nasa expect something in return. They call it abuse. Because Christ gave his all for us. Even though he expects us and we have to love him back for our own good even. But the kind of love that he has taught us in the word is the kind of love that just gives. That is all that is required of us.
Okay. Mr. Mamba?
Yeah, no, I think she has covered it, Msuthu, but Loa Sakuruma bengicabanga nje emuva ukuthi, you know, when I thought about love, probably nami kuleso stage la benguso, and marriage, I wasn't really considering what I can bring to the table. So nami bengicabanga mina ukuthi ke njengendoda ngingafisa umfati lo kanjani. Kangangoba when I thought, okay, this is the person that I think can love me the way that I want to be loved. I did my own background check. When I found, I knew Utsimawaku because we were friends before. So I went and introduced myself as a client. So ngahlala as a client, ngakhuluma as a client because I wanted to find out what kind of a person the mother was. After a long talk, a long talk, how do you know my daughter? I know your daughter. Oh yeah, no, So ngizama lokuchaza lokho ukuthi I was interested in my own interests and doing my own background check to find out how is the family yalo muntu lo, would it suit what I need. But of course, as sikhula msuthu, we start to learn ukuthi love is giving njengoba asashito lo sisile ngirentala kakhe. Naloko ukuthi ke
So
naloko ukuthi ke na ucabanga
just to take a bit back, let's go the step Mbuleni.
Yes, sir.
Do you do the research before?
I did it.
Express your love or?
Yeah, I did it before mina msuthu. I did it before because bengifuna loku bebe uyabona ukuthi sihle siattenda letinye izinto bahle basicocela lokunye ukuthi umfatu wakho uyawuba njengamakwakhe. So I wanted to know what kind of a person makwakhe langiyo, just to as a client, you know, umuntu uyakhona kubona personality yakhe in how he relates with people langabad, you see, with nothing to gain and nothing to lose. So after that engagement, I thought, no, she comes also from a very good, a good family, a good background. So but all those researches when msuthu were selfish, what part can I play in the life of this person? But as we have grown, we have learned naloko ukuthi nasikhuluma ngelithando wena msuthu, more than the feeling, more than the commitment, which is also the commitment to love the person the way the person wants to be loved. I think that is the key, because if me I believe love is buying you a rose, and lo muntu lengithi ngizama kumthanza ubelieve ukuthi yena luthando ukuthi ngibuye ngesikhathi emsebenzini, I can buy 1,000,000 roses, she still won't feel loved. But if I start to come back from work on time for a week, the person suddenly feels like I'm loved here. So I think the emphasis is over the giving that she says is not the giving according to you in terms of what the person wants, but it's the giving according to what you have found out. So what you give to the person is what the person needs, and not what you believe whether you think ufuna kumthanza kanje. So naye nasathanza wena naye utakuthanza ngale ndlela nawe you expect to be loved, because you only feel love when it's communicated in a language that you understand.
Precisely.
Just to go back a bit, ngiyabona lana one of our listeners just asked a question, but uyiphendulile. Because how important is it to do a background check on your potential partner? But in a way that is being selfish, you should look into yourself and say, what are you willing to do to make this work? But
check because you don't want to take on a load you cannot stomach. For example, there is nothing wrong ekushada nenzanzana, yabona. But nangabe mina ngiyati ukuthi the kind of a person that I am, ngingeke ngikhone ukushada nenzanzana, I shouldn't, not in a way less selfish, but I shouldn't start a journey that I won't be able to finish, yabona. It's any journey, any project that you're about to partake, you must sit down and count the cost. But you cannot count the cost if you don't have the whole facts. So there is nothing wrong with but I must be sure I know and I'm still taking on it. There is nothing wrong with a professional career. But ufuna believes in a professional career. There are days I must be comfortable with that. Be comfortable is a professional woman for 3 days. You see, so you do the background check because you basically want to know what you are taking on, so that you are not surprised. I didn't sign out for this, because I think one of the things that I learned from a friend mhlawumbe lengambona is sometimes you get married Msuthu thinking you are getting married to an angel, especially in a day where we are encouraged ukuthi ngoba sebakuganile namuhla shada kusasa. You see, in that form of a background lo muntu usuke asenalokuba closed in naloku ukuthi usengekakhona nekusuda phambi kwakho, you see. So ngalesikhathi senishadile and
so you guys do that.
Nasenishadile so discover ukuthi okay lo muntu kahle kahle ukanje. So ukhanza ukuthi sesidivorce on the second month of our marriage because letinye izinto vele I had not considered at all because I didn't know them to start with. So I would say yes, it is important. No, I would hire a private investigator, but I mean, do the basics. Do the basics.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Senia Tanzania for Tite. Anyways, I understand when you came to no choice but to say yes.
Please repeat yourself, Msuthu.
I think the feedback kata.
It could be on your end. Have you opened the app?
No. Me valid.
Okay.
I think that's
anyways, okay, maybe it's network. Bengithi ke bengenda nje comment ukuthi sibona you guys were in love in school for the longest of time. Anyways, bong Mr. Freshers, right? Did that have impact go relationship here? Ukuthi famous, you are the most eligible bachelor in the school, or Noma she wanted that title?
No. He was.
It had expired.
He was Mr. Freshers long before I came to school. We are kumbula mosukuti. He was doing his third year nangfika in the first year. So it didn't matter to me Msuthu ukuthi Mr. Freshers or not. Not so fresh anymore.
Okay, now your love, your transition into marriage. Yini umehluko lobe khona in the way that you guys love each other, in the way that you guys relate each other, because I believe ukuthi kunetimvo lenibese seniyati discover about each other or even about yourself as an individual once seni married. How was the transition?
Well, angabuti ukuthi ngakhona ukuthulula lokunganani lapha before this meeting Msuthu. However, sengaliteka seligcwele. Our first few months of marriage were not easy, if I were to be honest with you. We discovered a lot about each other, even though we had done a background check, which was okay, which was good enough. But nje kunaletinvo longe kutende background check gitu. Like for instance, in our case, Mamba would ask for me from Ekaya every now and then. Ngicela kuyodla nazinhle out, ngicela kuyobukela movie nazinhle, sitawubuya ngabani bani isikhathi. So to me, uyakhumbula before marriage, yes. Nasesikolweni, he would nakaphuma eklasini, he would come nangiseklasini, he would know ukuthi isikhiya sikuphi, uyafika uyadla whatever, uyajika uyahamba. So I thought this person understood my love language the way nami lengithandwa ngakhona. I thought he wanted to spend time with me, of which he did. He spent a lot of time with me. Nasi sesengale, sisengakashadi.
Okay.
And then once we got married, I think ngilenvo yenu Msuthu ukuthi nithi imfish seniyigolile, what's the point of chasing it now? So nasesishadile I discovered ukuthi, you know what, this person really likes his TV, hey? Such that to this day angeke ungasho ngikhanza la endlini ngakayivula iTV langa lonke. Because of the resentment that was created towards it kuleto tikhathi leto. So he would be glued to his TV, abuke yona toti, and he would just be content loko ukuthi ulandlini somewhere, somewhere whoever khala teacher, whoever khala tivalo, shotsi kunemuntu landlini, and he's fine with that. And mine lapho, I'm not okay. So it was hard for him to understand. He had lived alone for a long time. So abe ati yena ukuthi it's him and his remote. It's him and his Bible. Nabo bamvula bamcoka iTV Bible nguye kuphela nje. So it was very hard for me, especially because ngibuya family lapho khona we are always together. We are always doing things together. So kwakulukhuni such that ngangifuna kubuyela ekhaya kithi ngiva ngazuthi lana ngisukele ngani lento lena bese ingihlula nyalo lekuthiwa ngumshado. So it was quite hard, despite the spiritual aspect of things that we were having attacks ngato, but nje this particular one was hard for me. Angati yena yini lekuba likhuni kuye, but then over time as we spoke about it, as sibona lokho ukuthi athi lo muntu lokuthi abukele le TV akusho ukuthi uyanginyanya mina. There is one time I remember he even wrote a letter to me and emailed it. Asho kona ukuthi uyathi ngijatshuliswa nje ngilokuthi ulandlini. Don't leave. Ngijatshuliswa ngilokuthi ulandlini nje. Noma ngabe ngibukela iTV, but nje I will try to change, and that he did, Nkosi yami. So I think that's why we are here today, because he learned, I'm probably also learning to love him the way that he wants to be loved.
Okay. Babe Mamba?
Yebo Msuthu, bengizama ukucabanga nje nami ngizama ukukhumbula emuva, but ikhona le process of gelling, obviously, and trying to transition from certain habits to others, you understand. And I think kule marriage relationship vele kunalama adjustments laba maningi. At first you were a bachelor living alone. If you are not alone, you are with friends. If you are not with friends, mineke for the longest time, I also interchangeably lived with siblings of mine. Labetsinga mhlambe lo munye uyafunza ucedzela isikole, lo munye wenda bo internship sisuka emakhaya eNgutseni, so la kuthuthe khona kaBhuti, you see. So I mean noma nginema siblings endlini kusolo kufana nekuthi ngedwana mina. So makushaya isikhathi ngiva ukuthi ngikhani ngavula iTV, ngivula iTV. Mangivala iTV ngathi sesikhathi sekufunda something, I read something. Sesikhathi sekulala ngiyalala ngiyavuka. And also at the time I had umsebenzi lo buhle ungikhipha ebusuku. Sometimes I would have to go out late at night, come back late at night, and all those things. So obviously transitioning from ukuthi ujwayela kuhlala wedwa and now there's this person in your space, and lo muntu hayi ukuthi ku-space sakho nje njengoba asho ukuthi ufuna ukuthi abe khona nje, ufuna i-attention yakho. In other words, na ubuye emsebenzini ubheke ukuthi umcocise, ubheke ukuthi ubude ukuthi hayi emsebenzini kuhambe njani, akucocele ukuthi bamkhubile, ubathethise-ke laba labamkhubile ukuthi vele kude wena umfati ukuthi bamente le nto labamente yona, and all those things. Le ukhanza kokuthi practically wena udade, no matter how many books you can read, mase kufika ku-practice, because I mean you create habits and routines. Now saphela wathi nje ukuthi isikhathi sebhola ngilesi sekuthiwa ibhola nyalo so utawuva ngescore ukuthi ihambe njani, you are not used to that. But sometimes so uyafunza, I need to ibhola ngingahlole ama-highlights later ngoba nyalo kusafuneka isikhathi sami. And then kids come also, now you need to know, okay, now sengijwayele i-attention yakhe, nami sengifunzile ukuthi ngiyekele my-bits sami, but now I have to share the attention with kids. You understand? So you evolve and you learn in a relationship, trying to accommodate the next person. And obviously that is going to take a lot of time and discipline on your part, for the benefit of your partner.
Okay. Now let's talk about backgrounds. You guys are from totally different backgrounds. Zinhle njengoba niva nje accent yakhe, she's a city girl from St. Michael's. Yeah, she stings like a bee. Nakakhuluma Singisi. How did you guys have any difficulty merging the two?
Background wise, I think Msuthu, it wasn't hard, because I think we managed to create our own, so to speak. Make the point. Naloko ukuthi 5 years of university Msuthu is not a joke now ukuzama phela ukuthi uphuma language, you understand. So I mean now kusuke sekukhona loku adjusta lokusuke sekwendekile la kule system yakho. Mhlambe ke naloko ukuthi yes ayabo unless uphuma. Naloko ukuthi probably our backgrounds were not too different. Ngoba phela naye akusho ukuthi ukhulele eThembelihle, you know. Ukhulele eZulwini, and it's the rural areas and all those kind of things. So lama differences, yes, are bekhona, but they were not significant to be intolerable. So nglawo nje ma differences ekwekuthi for, if I can make example, ukuthi bona ekhaya kuba khule ba travel, yabona. Bashona le kancane sebashona le as a family. Mina ekhaya ithi kuseni ngokuthi as travel nzapho, you know. I mean
travel anyensimini.
Isithabula siyolima siyohlakula nedolobheni umuntu utasakhulile kwamanga edolobheni kunemsindo kahle akulaleki. So all those things. So I mean, yes, there were those differences, but I think we also now had created our own, because it's not like mhlawumbe naye wasuka uya ku-space some. You know, if we had moved to Ngudzeni, it would have been a different story, because mhlawumbe bekutawufuna avuka aye ensimini ayohlakula ayosenga, you know, tintfo langatati. But because I mean we have our own family ekhaya siyaya ngoba ekhaya kuyayiwa, but asihlali khona. So we have our own life, le sort of ilam khatsini now, merging her life's background and mine. So in our classic dialogues, our backgrounds were not very too far apart. We were raised by two parents, mother and father. Nami ngikhuliswe ngumake nababe. Noma yena wabo wahlala nagogo, but nami ngahlala namalume sikhashana. So you understand, we're not very too different. Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about managing expectations in a relationship, or maybe so to say in a marriage. How do you guys handle that? Gutsi, you know what you are expecting of your partner, and your partner knows what he is expecting from you. But at the same time, we are the expectation lengnayo towards my partner, he or she can be able to deliver. Where do you find the balance there?
Msuthu, my expectations bahlale basho bathi abulala imishado, my expectations. However, you can't help it, because you get into something wati loko ukuthi naku ngibonile boma kwami nababa wami, ngibonile bomalume namalumekati, ngiyabhekisa nabe ngikhule in that setup, bathandzana kanjena. So nami nginale ngqondo leyo ukuthi luthando yindvule kanje. Luthando, marriage is something almost like this. So it has, I think ngimi lo bene bulukhunyana kakhulu, because I think I got married a bit young. I was 23 when I got married. Not to say I was taken advantage of, get me right, but ngi fully consenting, ngi wanted it totally. But I think ngikhule in the relationship. I think I'd put it that way. Ngikhule la khathi kule relationship, even before marriage. Ngikhule la imbi kwakhe, because I was 17 when we met. So expectations were there. Some are still there. But I think as ukhula uyabona lokho ukuthi yathi this is not about you. It's not totally about you. It's also about the next person. So person number 2 nakathi uyathi lokuhlala la ndlini akungijabulisi onke lamalanga. Ngiyasuffocate in these 4 walls ngakushaya ngumoya noma sithathe walk siyojika lapha emgconyeni siyabuya. Even I'll feel refreshed. Le expectation yakho ithi lo movie lo laceleni kwakho to understand akanzena right kabi. So you get frustrated. You get very, very frustrated ngokuthi lo movie usho ukuthi akafuni ukwenza lo kufunwa ngimi. Yena ukanjani kanzi wakhiwe njani kanzena lo ufuna kuvuka nje abukele iTV kuphela adle ahamba yolala. Urefresha nini, ubona nini ngaphandle lilanga limshisa nini. So ubana lokho ukuthi everyone should be like that, but it's not the case. I think kukhula for me lo ngende nga realize ukuthi athi it's not about me. It's not about my expectations. He also has his own expectations. Naye ugatsile ukuthi ngalelanga ngike ngivula iTV ngihlale naye phasi ngithi sibukela ini namuhla. Naye lo kumjabulisa. There was a point in time where he would really be happy. I sleep before he does. He would really be happy lokho ukuthi nje ngilele ngibukela naye movie. So naloko becounter la kuye lokuthi nginaye la eceleni kwakhe lo yena abukela movie mina ngilele but yena ubukela movie. So I think as time goes on, as you realize back to what I said, love is giving, as you realize it's not about you, it's about the next person. That's when my expectations ayancipha kanjalo. I don't know what he'd say.
Msuthu, I think so iphendulile Msuthu. Angiboni ukuthi ngabe ngisafaka lokunye na.
Asota uyona.
Yeah.
Okay, Bomvulini, angisho njalo. Then you guys got married, you are working, there's church, there's kids. How do you guys find the balance, and how do you still then try as much as you can to find time for each other?
Just cut some suit.
It's funny, we were just talking about that Itolo in Zambama. Since the kids, we haven't really had time to ourselves, yeah, I think you consciously have to make that time with your partner, because akusasiko automatic ukuthi nangabe izindla kakhanuka ikupheka sihamba siyodla kuphi automatically that is date night. It's no longer like that now. Nyalo you make the you uyaqabanga lokho ukuthi uyathi izindle kade ngamgcina noma ngilala naye laceleni kwakhe but nje kade ngamgcina. So you consciously make that time. It's not easy, I must say. I think I had 2 kids masinyane in a space of 2 years. So it put a strain on us, I think. Meaning, that's what I say. It put a huge strain on us, on our relationship, on our marriage. We still have the family intact, but I think it strained the marriage somehow. Ngoba lesikhathi sekubukana emehlweni sekude kahle. Yeah, sesikhathi noma uhamba edolobheni awusacabangi i-t-shirt yamamba. Sekufika kuqala yasime enkosini ukuthi yathi sime sohotel bhuluko. Mamba so ufika muva ukuthi kepha namamba naye so ushoda ngemabhuluko uyabo. So ganzi, all those things are unnecessary even la emshadweni. Angathi ukuthi uthini yena wendluleni.
Yeah, so to isikhathi sikude song is not 24 hours a day, so we have to make it work within that 24 hours. So we are going to what are your priorities? So you can but you just have to try and balance out. I mean, ben complain the boys now tend to sleep very late, about 11ish. Nakhona balala ngoba sobalalisa ngengane, you know. By the time balala, when you still have to, in that night, kungakazi uye emsebenzini, you still have to make time for prayer. You still have to make time for intimacy. Noma lapho intimacy sifatifana ngendlela ehlukene. For intimacy in the relationship, because whatever it is, because basically you're 8 to 6 usemsebenzini, ngoba ngeke ngithi to 5 because there's traveling and all that. By the time you get to the house nga 6, lo munye ucosha abantwana, lo munye uyapheka, you understand? I mean, bantwana banijabulele bafuna kunibona, so ngeke bese nithi niyabakhiyela ngale senihlala nobabili, you understand? You try to entertain them, niyadla. By the time niqeda kudla ne-fatigue starts to set in, you understand? Nabo lalani phela abalali uyabakhuda bayagibela bayehla bendabonke. By the time they start to sleep, I mean, if your own spiritual life is supposed to survive, you must make time somewhere there for the word and prayer, you understand? And over and above that, nani kufuna ukuthi nibe nesikhathi nani senu nobabili too, because letinye tinto lo bese uyadiscover ukuthi abesaba maningi lama pockets la undiscussed, you understand? Bese nje senisha cruise control, uyabo. Sekude la lo munye awusakhona ukubona lo munye noma emsebenzini akasaphathekanga kahle, awusakhona ukubona noma lo munye kunetinto letingasendeki kahle landlini, bese senigcina seniya-ignorana nje. Sekuba lula ukuthi nalo ungena embhedeni, so ungena ubuka le naye ukhathele, nalo munye ungena ubheka le, not because nikwatelele but nje lonke niziniwe. So you basically want to sleep so that at least you are fresh the next day to now. So ngolabe sikudiscussa naye ukuthi it is important, especially once you have kids, to make time for just the two of you. Because when there is no communication, I mean, if you can get a stay in, do that. You know, because I mean,
but no, as a late date, don't discuss kids.
you see. Well, because ngani ngisho isikhathi sekuthandaza as a family, nanti ngicela kupheka lo myumntwana sowulele, sekunjani nekuthandaza senendi touch and go as a family. So I mean, the altar that keeps going now has to be your personal altar when I went back, which also is not good now, because kukahle ukuthi nithandaze nonke as a family. But sometimes you can't very well see the family altar is struggling. It happens once a week, twice a week, it once a month, you know. So you understand? So it happens like that. It happens like that.
Oh, okay. Now, because you guys are still happy, you guys are still married. I think you stay in this marriage. Amidst of all these challenges, listen, Washilo, how do you keep the spark alive? How do you ensure you stay happy in this thing like Mshado? And maybe Njege, just the second part of the question would be, akon in my habits lebeni nawo as boyfriend and girlfriend, which you actually brought into this marriage, and keep the spark alive.
Thanks, Msud. Hey, like saying very, me personally, I think managing time is something that I need to improve on, you know. in terms of managing time. And then in terms of how have we managed to sustain the marriage and the family, I think it's a combination of many things. Kuqala is trust. I think trust is important. Trust imqoka msuthu lokuthi wathi ukuthi umuntu noma angakukhulumisi but la mshadweni udele kutohlala. You see, there's nothing as threatening as someone who's going to tell you ukuthi mina ngiyahamba every time ngicabana, you know, because awathi ukuthi umephi, you know. Nangabe uyakhona umuntu ukumthemba, at least uyathi lokho ukuthi you know what, noma kungentekani lo muntu lona is here to stay. So leyo trust leyo iyakusita nawe ukuthi you know what, I mean we are both fighting this. Nangabe kune issue lekhona konke lesicabanga ukuthi siyisolve kanjani, hayi ukuthi lo mnye sokucabanga simbahla takha ngathi bakusha kanjani. You understand? Because if the option yokuthi upakishe ikhona, and now utawuthi ijwayeda lokhu upakisha, utawugcina upakisha ungasabuyanga, you see. And now utawuthi ijwayeda ukuthi wena na ukwatile ngoba unemoto ungene emotweni uhambe, I mean utawugcina uhamba ungasabuyanga. So I think early in our marriage wena msuthu bese kwenda lokhu sina ukwatile ulale kulakho likamera. Ukwatile wende, you know, savumelana in the first few months of our marriage ukuthi noma ungakwata kanjani utawulala la mbhedzeni, manithula ungakhulumi but utawulala la mbhedzeni. Masanza kushada bese kwenda futhi lokhu na ukwatile wena uphume uhamba, uyabona, utawubuya naso uvakathi sowupholile, uyayibona lento le. Savumelana ukuthi umuntu noma angakwata eve ngathi uyabhama utawuhlala la, you know, utawugcina upholile, utawuba ngcono. But if we keep creating le space sekuthi ngikwata ngilala ekamerweni lami, ngikwata ngihambe ngiyovakashela ncane songabuyi, you understand, that leyo nto leyo yenda ukuthi le trust kube bede la kule relationship. Lokho ukuthi lo muntu lengihleli naye lona ngimati ungasufaka elinyawo lunye ngente kapakishe kusasa hambe, yabona. So nami angisafaka 100% kule nto lengiyendako because ngiyancenekela. Two, Msuthu, communication, you know, communication is important. I used to be good at communication in my early days, but I'm losing my time, you know. Communication is important, and ngicabanga ukuthi uNkulunkulu sisite ngako lokuthi sibe ne-communication lekhaya. Ngoba nasanza kushada lamavu bekavela ashesha phakame, you understand. And lokho ukuthi sikhona lokukhulumisana ukuthi you know what, i-communication yethu asesizame ukuthi ibe ngile yakhako, singathi ukuthi ngiyalayana ngifuna ukuvisa buhlungu, you understand. And nasesiva ukuthi le communication yethu ayisakhi, yabona, instead emotions are starting to fly. Let's put a pause. I mean time iyakwenda ukuthi ube so uyahluta nawe engqondweni ukhona ukudiscussa calmly. And then thirdly, kumqoka msuthu ukuthi nangabe ningasavani, just get abantu ningabathemba to mediate. You see, umqoka to have people that can mediate. I mean, this can be another family that you trust. This can be spiritual mentors and spiritual fathers. Kulabo bethu labakholwako. I mean, it can be anyone lomdzala lenivanga ngakhona mediator, but bantu lenibathembayo, you know, you don't want umvlo tasina kabuya lakina ahla ajike ngale kamsuthu afika se imsuthu ngababona abantu ukhamba. You understand? Ufuna nje umuntu lo sakhulile abhadlile adi ukuthi sometimes in any marriage there are disagreements. Lathi ngabe ukuthi sibe neliso lesithathu lesitawuvumelana ukuthi you know what, lo muntu lona ka mediate to try and be neutral and find a middle ground. Ngoba thina we have tried a couple of times to discuss this very issue and we have not come to a solution. You understand? But over and above all, Msuthu, love and trust. I'm telling you, umqoka wokuthi mawati ukuthi uphucile nawe vele bowushisa ukhone kubuya emva kwema hour lamabili uthi you know what, I messed up, you know. Mhlawumbe bona vele mina nangicala ngi-introducer lenzaba vele you were wrong wena, but nami le ndlela ngibese ngi-introducer sesikhuluma ngayo nami I was wrong. Can we please, I'm sorry, can we please try and discuss it again? Because kube bete lokho ukuthi siyathi nje la khaya ukuthi masikwatelene lo tawu initiate ipeace ngumsuthu make msuthu ngeke ende lutho noma siyathi ukuthi lapha ekhaya nangabe kukhona longakambi kahle sawudubana 3 days uto lokhulumisa lomunye you understand. So that is a terrible way. If there is love when I'm suthu, awukhona kuba comfortable nento lengakasolveki. You understand? Awukhona kuba comfortable nento lengakasolveki. If there is love and trust, inkinga ngile independence leningi la mishadweni. Lokuthi ubelieve ukuthi umuntu awumdzingi, yabona. Lokuthi uyamdzinga uyamdiscover mzukwana ahambile. Le ngqondo itawuhlambuluka ke lapho. So kukhona lokho ukuthi umuntu nje ajwale athi mina ngidzingi umuntu mina la kuphileni kwami. Mina ngangivele ngiphilela ngedwana. Now I mean liqiniso lithi nje makangekho lilanga linye lo mbhethi uba mkhulu. Yabona le ndlu nje uva ngathi iyakusinza now. Because you need your partner now. And asiyekelekele pride nalokudvala ukuthi lo muntu awumdzingi. Just try all that you can try to make sure immediate. And I think for Tsineke ngilo, because sometimes we are able to discover 2 hours abuyilela endlini ukuthi she's not okay. Because njengoba ngisho anisahlali nobabili nodvana, uyabona. Sekulula nje ubuye udlale nebantwana wente konke mhlawumbe sewumbona senidla ukuthi hawu yini ngathi akekho right lo muntu. You see that. But we are ukuthi lo muntu akasi right nje nitawugcina nisolvile leni bakusuke ukuthi akasi right nje la ngemuva ufihle ama divorce papers. That is what I can say. Yeah.
So even when you guys are angry at each other, do you still say I love you?
Hey siyazama msuthu but indlela kuba lula naso semsebentini kusenda le text.
Okay.
Ngoba lapho usuke so le ngcondo seyicala kubuya kwekuthi uyathi that is my wife, you know. So uyamsenda ke loyo I love you and kuba likhulu lokhu kusho ngemlomo lapha nanisabonana.
Qiniso lelo msuthu ngiyavuma nami.
Now let me ask this. Angbegi is practically between me and my wife. We have a different approach when it comes to Tinzabatabo conflict. Knowing my personality, ngathi kahle ukuthi if I speak out of anger, I will do more harm than good. Ganzi and she believes that if there is a problem, let's just sit down and talk about it there and there. Ganzi mina mhlawumbe ngisengekho kahle emotionally to talk about it. Now, what would you say to couples if you have a different approach to conflict management? Where should you find the balance?
Angimathi ukuthi sengikhulume kakhulu mina msuthu. Asesive lo munye.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, Msuthu. It's a very difficult one ngoba for you kukhuluma ngaleso sikhathi might cause more harm than good, like you say. I think loku best is lesikhathi lapho khona nobayithu seni calm khona. If it calls for ukuthi nike nihlale la ndlini ngoba angu-advocate lokuphuma uhambe uyoshaya ngumoya. Nike nihlale la ndlini imzuzwana ningayikhulumisi le ndzaba for some time, for a few hours if that's what you need. Then fine, asihlale a few hours before we speak about it. Because emagama lo sowakhokhile awukhona iphindze wamite. And I for one, I am the most emotional one la emshadweni wethu, and previously bengikhuluma I would bang doors, I would throw things, yeah, I would say a whole lot of things letingakhi utisole muva ukuthi yathi I really didn't mean this bengushiswa ngilemvo lebengiyiva nje. So udiscover muva lokuthi lo muntu actually held on to la magama even though noma ngabe akafuni to hold on to them, but somehow ahledi lokho ukuthi yathi ngento yakube vele ezinhle ucabanga kaso noma ngabe she has apologized for it, So I think the best way to deal with it, if you need time to calm down, if you need time to pole before you talk about it, I think Wadlamini akacole akunikete leso sikhashanyana ukuze ndawukhona kuphuma nesisombululo lesiphilayo rather than ngokuthi niphume vele sekukabi kakhulu in the discussion.
Yeah, nekuthi ke Msuthu thene kungabi ukuthi awufuni ukukhuluma because you're avoiding the issue. Because I mean some of us ngicabanga ukuthi thina yona Msuthu we are lucky. I think uNkulunkulu usibusisile lokuthi the things that make for our disagreement are not issues that are serious. Yabona? Because kunema issues la serious Msuthu ukuthi ungendeka kusasa abuya ngiphathele isisu. Uyayibona le nto le. Ukhanze ukuthi inema long lasting effects leyo nto leyo yabona. So our disagreements kusenkulama disagreements ema couples onke ukuthi I mean we are akhona asivumelani ngemcondo or its behaviors, you understand, it's this behavior that I don't like, because akhona vele lama issues that really test your faith umuntu, and ukhanze ukuthi nawe wena ke Msuthu awusafuni ukuyikhuluma indzaba le serious, you understand, and not because noma sengiphindze ngiyabuya futhi usoluthi wena no angikho right ngibone la musivele sitawugcina sikakakhulumi la ekhaya kazi lento mina vele angikhoni lokuhlala nayo. So I think ngilama compromises ukuthi nami I've always believed lokho wena Msuthu lokho ukuthi into ayingakhulunywa ngoba ngi-emotional, but sometimes you can't ukuthi kufuna nizama kufuna sale ngidincenga nami ngiyikhuluma noma ngiva ukuthi emotional, and that is where we grow. Dithelo tamoya leti Msuthu tabo self control and patience le really nasibuka emuva. I mean marriage is one place that reveals to us how immature we are as believers,
selfish
and very selfish, and uNkulunkulu uyasisita ezisiya ngekukhula some of the things we outgrow. I mean really nami seniyakhona ukuthi noma ngikwatile isithelo se-self controlling ngizame ukuthi no let me control myself, ngizame kuva ukuthi uthini, njengoba ngisho ngithi our discussions initially were terrible yabo, kungaviwana vele emotions were flying, but ezisikhula sesiyakhona kwathi ukuthi okay naye nazinhleso yakhona kwathi ukuthi let me let this slide yabona, ngoba sekukhona lokho ukuthi la mindeneni kube ngazuthi ugathiwe yabona, kwathi phazi nje selicala kufuna lingene, kwathi phazi selicala sekude nalothi asengikuyekele nje lokwenqe, you understand, ngoba phela kusho ukuthi sigathene siyaphila, which is trying to say a relationship yethu as7. So it's a trade-off. Sometimes yes utawufuna vele ulangosa kubeketelele, but sometimes yes you have to stomach it and have that discussion.
Yeah, wake wathi umfundisi nibozama kubamba natandla bese seniyathetha. Ngibone ukuthi kutawuthetheka yini.
Don't try it at home. Don't try it at home.
This one you must definitely try at home.
Now I think Lena ngicela kuyi-dedicate, I mean kuyi send us straight to Zinhle. Kuthi when a man apologizes gani wena usekwatile ikuphile nkinga uvelani lokuthi ngisheshe nga-apologize kani wena usafuna kuventa
ngitshela
hayi ukuthi ngisafuna ukukutshela wena Msuthu ikanjena lento ngisuke ngiva ngazuthi u-apologize just to brush me off,
shut you up.
Exactly. Kanti ngalesikhathi ngikukhombisa the extent of the hurt and damage lo yendile la kimi bese sengikhanike uxolisa ngiva ngathi I know uxolisa sibili ke wamamba kanti nangitawuthi ngithi nje ubuyelani nga12 ebusuku la khaya athi ngiyaxolisa, so uvela ungice yonke vele bengiyipreparishile ukuthi ngidambayela ukuthi na ungishiya ngetfa la khaya abantwana banjena na ungishiya ngetfa tigebengu yabo. So ngideprive lento lebe ngisolo ngifuna I appreciate ngoba kusasa utawuphindze abuye ngabo 12 aphindze athi I'm sorry. Kanti ngalesikhathi ngimfululele lokuthi uyati lokubuya kwakho late kungenda nje bese kusothi I'm sorry. Ngiyelithemba ukuthi kumbe nakusasa angeke akuphindze ngoba akafuni tigebengu tingene tingikhanze ngedvani.
So we shouldn't be quick to say I'm sorry.
Angasho njalo Msuthu. Say you are sorry, but allow me to vent. Ngikukhombise lokho ukuthi uyati ukuthi lento ingende kanje uphiza uqhubeke futhi uthi I am sorry once again utsinela Nkosi. Uyabo. Be willing. I think a man that apologizes is very attractive. Because pride, I think, emshadweni. I think for a man to say I'm sorry, usuke angasho ukuthi utehlisile because it's very necessary. But usuke akhombisa lokho ukuthi uyayivaluisha le relationship noma lo mshado. Because as hard as it may be, it is very hard ukuthi uxolela umuntu longaka apologize, but we are called to do that. We have to forgive a person that hasn't apologized, but it is nice ngalesikhathi uxolisile. Nami unginiketa lesigaba sami sokuthi uyati ngivakala la emshadweni. It's not just about him. Uyabo.
Okay.
So it's very nice and encouraging. Kuva invota ithi uyati kuthini ngiyaxolisa. Aze athi ngisakuthanza futhi.
Angathi I love you because I heard ukuthi substance ngiyakuthanza na I love you.
Okay. Kunama ice cubes lapho.
Okay. Now, just this one. In your journey, has things or people tried to come in between you? And how did you guys come out of that situation?
Okay. Have things or people tried?
Yeah.
I would say awuphinda udefine ukuthi get people limsuthu usho ukuthi labantu banta intentionally noma ngesiphosiso.
Maybe not intentionally, but njeke nitikhanze seni in conflict because of like say things or people angibekise nje nizabata bo WhatsApp nani yeah, but more so kulenza baye bamfu or even friends as well.
Many times where in mhlawumbe to kusho what I've learned from that. What I've learned from that, and I'm so told, it's usually not about the person that you believe is coming between you. It's usually about lokuthi le spouse sakho siva ngasusaida nalesitha. Angathi noma kuyevakala nje. In which case noma ngabe it's not a human entity, noma ngabe WhatsApp, yabona, WhatsApp the application. So nakeva ngazuthi lo WhatsApp ume nawe ngala yena so uyedwana ngale uyi-opposition yena WhatsApp, it becomes a problem. You understand? So I've learned if we can find a way, noma kulukhuni ngoba yes, for many reasons, but if we can find a way to make sure in every situation, mhlawumbe kungenda ukuthi kube ngcono, kungenda ukuthi lama encounters ethu abe ngcono. Lo kwenda ukuthi kube lukhuni kuloko ukuthi this whole confrontation comes out as an attack to me. We are born.
Yeah.
As nje, if what is coming between us at this time is WhatsApp, we are born. So if le confrontation comes as an attack to me. Lokuthi hey wena nalo WhatsApp wakho, you understand? So mina ngahle kahle ngisuke ngingadefend lo WhatsApp, ngisuke ngidefenda mina. But in defending myself, could defend the WhatsApp, you understand? And then conflict ensures. In the same way, nangabe kunemuntu ever angazuthi hawu yathi lo muntu la khaya yini ungazuthi lo muntu ufuna ukuthatha isikhala sami. Now this is a human person. Even if it's innocent, in trying to defend myself, I may find myself defending the personality we are born, which is this lady. And I'm not really necessarily defending this lady in this case. I'm just trying to defend myself from this article. Mina kude ngikwenda nalo muntu. Kwekuqala nalo muntu is just a colleague. Futhi nje lo muntu uyakholwa, this person is a nice person, she wouldn't do that. You understand? Uyabona ukuthi in defending myself self-defend again, and that is where the conflict ensures. So yes, several times Msuthu, there have been things, and people that unintentionally come between us in that way. But I believe kusuke kungasiwo abantu as persons, kusuke kungilokhu engizamile ukuchaza Msuthu.
Okay.
Ndekuthi mhlawumbe ke mina yabo
unless Zinhle has something.
Ngathabe sacedzela mamba before
bengifuna ukuthi ke Msuthu nalokunye lesolo ngizama ukuthi ke bakubone la khaya abangakuboni base ngakakuboni ke lokho Msuthu ngisazama mhlambe mase ngi-20 year anniversary batakeze bakubonile. I strongly believe ukuthi I strongly believe ukuthi the more trust iba khona la ekhaya, the less we will have these personalities that we feel are coming between us. In as much as your spouse has a responsibility to protect you, because kungumsebenzi wakhe futhi ukukuvikela on things that you might not necessarily usheshe utibone ngoba yena he knows the ladies. Wena, you know guys, you can easily spot guys who have ulterior motives than she can, you understand? So in as much as unayo responsibility when I can protect her from those guys, now we have learned to trust her. Unetimbo, that won't be an issue if there is discussing ngoba you trust her to handle these things well. So I think that is another point that I just wanted to put across.
Yeah, just to add on that, Ngambule, bengifuna ukuthi I think the issue yeah both third person or third things coming in to divide us or just coming between us. We tend, cinema ladies, we tend to be more sensitive towards them than you guys. And I just wanted to explain I've just realized Gogoguti Tinesibuganine as figures to protect us. Nivangazuti, you have been given that role to protect. We may be here to serve, but wena, you have to protect me. So Nangdauti Ganyinje, the very first question yami, Nangdauti iti how Lona Ugwatapelelani ngathene ebusuku. And your reaction ingitshele ukuthi you are quick to be defensive. Nami so ngiphampe up kokuthi wo okay kunenkinga ke la. Kanzi nangitawuthi mine lona ukwataphelelani ngathene ebusuku and entertain. Uthi wena yati nami yengosi yati ye baby. Kuze ufake ngisho na baby. Uze uthi uyati nami understand ngoba phela emini bengikhuluma naye lo move. Kokuthi nyalo so ufaka imessage nyalo ebusuku akade ngokuthi isikhathi sakho lesi. Uyati ukuthi lapho you have shut me up angisakhona ukuchubeka uyabo. That way I know you are in my corner. That way I know you've got my back uyabo. So no matter what this person has to say, no matter the motive lanayo, ngi-aware lokuthi okay nawe kusho uyakubona lo wrong because kufuneka ukubone le mvulo engizama ukukhombisa yona nangabe ngumsuthu lo phele kusihlukanisa kufuna nawe uhluchamuka uthi hey uyathi umsuthu uyangihlolela lapha kungabi ukuthi mina lo msuthu ngimi onke lamalanga lo veta ukuthi there is something wrong. So I think your role as people that should protect us in the marriage comes even kulogo. It's not just financial security that we want. It's not just a physical security. I'm untouchable because you are here. It's not. It's security in all sorts and all forms. Protect my emotional being as well. Protect the emotional part of me as well. Nasilwa nenvo sisobabili ungajumpi to be on the other part, on the other side. U-attack mini kube kungukuthi nini nalo sisi sen-attack mini ngoba it feels that way.
Okay.
Ngalesikhathi uthi wena uyakholwa Mosi angeke Mosi aze ende Mosi nguye lo WhatsApp phako mina ngenteni le wrong ngoba nguye lo sendele message. But then nguye lo send the message, what do you have to say about it? You see, don't you see anything wrong? Logo ukuthi I've brought it up. It should be of concern to you. Protect me. Noma so uyangiyenga ke uthi hey uyadang understand but lokho ngidawuva ngathi hey uyatimamba ukanye nami kule nto le. It means a lot, and not just with people that come between you, with anything at all empilweni nje. It could be even my own parents. Uyabo. Ngikhamuke kuwe ngithi uyati kwendeke kaso. Ngikhathile kokuthi before ungitshele ukuthi uyati ezinhle ngimakwakho lo khuluma ngaye. Mbaba wakho lo khuluma ngaye, umbhuti wakho. Ngitshele lokho ukuthi hey uyati vele Nkosi yami ncese uyati Nkosi uyati kanje.
I should defend you first.
Exactly.
Even when you are wrong, when I'm sorry.
Even when I'm wrong, find a way to say. Find a way to tell me that I'm wrong. Find a way to tell me. But seriously, I think that's the one part of you guys or of the marriage. Leni ngakabi aware of noma lesingakafunziseki ngayo kahle. Lokho ukuthi it is your role, it is your responsibility to protect me. Give me security in all possible spheres. Oyabo.
Okay.
Yes. That way.
No, Gyashuba.
Yeah.
Okay. Now ukhulume lenye inzabalana with regards to finances. It was actually my next question. Kutsi, the absence or presence of money, what does it do to a relationship? Relationship or marriage? Yeah.
The absence of money, what does it do to a relationship?
The absence or presence of money, what in principle, nanbuganene, what should or what does it do to a relationship?
Kuba honest nje imali imgcoke emshadweni. Imgcoke imali emshadweni Msuthu. Makuthi imali emshadweni kuba likhune emshadweni. Asisho ukuthi asisho ukuthi we will be millionaires, but we say nangabe la ekhaya siyade ukuthi silala sinaselitiya nesingo. Vele kutawutsinga ukuthi kube khona onke malanga. And as a man, when you cannot provide, you become frustrated. And when you are frustrated as a man, you cannot also be able to effectively love your spouse. And indoda my frustrated Msuthu netindvuka tivuka ekhaya. So that's part of life.
Okay.
So yes, gona Msuthu in a book, in a storybook, umnanzi masithi love is enough. But practically speaking, life needs money Msuthu. Na ingekho imali uba frustrated noma uwedwana ungakashadi. Now think about now bringing someone into your frustration. uyakubona lokho Msuthu ngiyehluleka ulala ngidlile ngingedvana. Now I bring a mouth 2, 3, 4 mouths into ukuthi nyalo sekufuna ngiphinde ngikhathateke ngikokuthi ngenyalo sekuna 3 wele eminye imilomo letawulala ingakadli lebuke mina ukuthi ngiyifide. You understand? As a man, that is is too much weight upon your shoulders. So yes, I'm speaking from the capacity of a man ukuthi ayibe khona income lakhaya. So angisane nzaba kakhulu ukuthi itana bani, but it needs to be there. Some form of money asisho ukuthi ayibe, but let there be provision. Asilale sidlile sigcoke, let's have the basics. Asikhone kudla, asikhone kwembatha, asikhone kufihla inhloko. I mean, if I cannot do that for myself ngedvana, I would strongly recommend don't bring someone else into the problem. Money is important in a relationship. Yes.
Yeah, I agree, Msuthu. Money is very important, not to say sishadela yona, because kunale mentality lekhona wena Msuthu yokuthi ngizoshada nawe ngoba uhamba ngelegend 50. Hey, buka ngifuna ukukwehlisa ngithi 45. Akusiwo ukuthi ngizoshada nawe ngoba uhamba ngelegend 50. But ngikhulume about security. This is one of the things ngifuna ukufaka with the security. I need to know ukuthi noma ngabe umhlaba usendani, I know you can provide for food, for shelter, for clothing. Noma ngimi lo provider, but money should be there. One of us has to make means, or both of us have to make means ukuthi ikhona imali. Sineke siphinde sithanze netindvo sekuya na unemfatike lodulile usengingeni bamba. But now nami nje Nkosi yami lo simple angithi Nkosi.
Ngiyifakazi leyo Msuthu.
No ungacambe manga emsakatweni.
Yeah, money is important. Money is important for the basics. Money is important nekokuthi ngalelinye ilanga nje nangabe le basic lena singakhona ukuthi sinathe mahewu silale kuze ukuthi ngikuthengele naya iKitKat esitolo. Kumcoka nalokho uyabo. Money is important because la esitolo angeke ungithengele le KitKat ngale ngawe ngithi ukhona nje ngilithando. We need the money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now asangibude ikakhulu la kini, well angingathi kuboma ke kuphela because nakubo babe iba khona lenkinga yokuthi if imali lenengi lakhaya ichamuka ngamake iba khona le inferiority complex from babe's side, and maybe sometimes namake then tends to wear the pants in the marriage. Like, where do you balance that? Because igcine sekuyi competition ukuthi babe ngifuna kumhlula make sengathi khanza futhi sengimsuppressa in ema dreams nema goals akhe because angifuni angenge.
Yeah. Yeah, asathi labo make akaphendvule lo make Msuthu ukuthi nangabe naseta nemali eningi lakhaya bese kuhamba kanjani basakhona yini kusihlonipha.
It's funny bengikhuluma with besikhuluma with one other couple just last night ngeto letindzaba tetimali ngokuthi noma ngabe ichamuka ngabani imali Msuthu, noma ngabe ichamuka ngami, noma ngabe ichamuka ngababe mama, leyo mali yala ekhaya. I think we need to understand that, and I think nabo babe kufuneka banga-attach i-ego yabo and their value emalini. But of course, kutoba lukhuni for babe, la ekhaya, if I constantly do things that remind him, lokuthi ngimi phela I-breadwinner la khaya. So we both have roles to play. Angayithwali le nhloko yokuthi uyati mina ngingidokotela. Wena kumbe uyathanyela. Ufaka 500 mina ngifaka 5,000 uyabo. Ayingabi khona le gap izibonwe nabantu. Ayingabi le khona le gap uzo uyive nawe nebantwana baze babone. You need to be smart. Le wisdom leyo ke itfolakala kuSimakade ke wena Nkambule. Yokuthi la ekhaya imali ayibeya la ekhaya. Akungabi ukuthi Zinhle unemali. Mamba ashayeke aze abonakale ukuthi ya ngilomfati lo nemali la ekhaya. Ngoba sinale understanding yokuthi yababe imali yethu sonke but le yami. Which in my own opinion, get me right, my own opinion, anguboni kusebenta kahle unless mamba vele right bam such that uyakhona nekuvala lehlazo la ekhaya ukuthi bani nemali bani ude. But nje imali la ekhaya yethu sonke make akahlakaniphe babe angayendi ibe lukhuni le role yamake la ekhaya. Because make ndawubhekisa nasi menkosini emayitiwe coffee table. Le coffee table ithengwe ngubabe. Ngitawuthi mina sime suka tiwe coffee table yami. Uyabo? Ithengwe ngubabe.
Yes.
But I can say the same noma ngabe ithengwe ngimi le coffee table. Sime suka tiwe coffee table yami. Babe should not have any feeling towards that. It's not kokuthi insinuate kuthini. I'm just saying it ngoba kulakhaya and konke lokulakhaya ngekwami. Nanawe wami.
Okay.
So I think men can have the potential yekuyenda ibe lukhuni le role yabomake in submitting kuleyo aspect leyo and even in trying by all means kuvala lelihlazo la ekhaya lokuthi site la ekhaya ngithengise amatamatisi kuze sikhone kwakha imali uyabo. Yena kumenda ative amncane but akungabi ukuthi utiva amncane nendlela yami lengiphatha ngayo ayimende babe ative lokuthi uyindvodza la ekhaya. If it calls for ukuthi nangibuya kuyothengisa ngeke ngawathengisa emasekeni babe Nkambule. If it calls for ukuthi nangibuya kuyothengisa lamasekeni ngibuye ngithi naku ke babe ngakhile 1,000 ucabanga ukuthi sendeni ngaye. Noma ngawe uyabonga nje uthi awusiyabonga la khumalo sowusebenzile bona ukuthi senda njani ngaye. Noma athi uyathi ngicabanga ukuthenga emasonto emoto. That's fine. Niya discuss. It's the transparency that matters more than anything. It's the transparency. It's respecting each other.
Okay.
Sisemthandazweni
siyabonga bomamba.
Bengithi sisemthandazweni Msuthu. Umthandazo lolula.
Sisemthandazweni.
Yes, sisemthandazweni nje lolula Msuthu. Lothi siyamcela uNkulunkulu lohlele esihlalweni lokuthi uzela amakhaya ethu atokhosa ahlale ngekuthula. Sisenebuntwana njengoba bugcwele la kithi sibaningi. Akababusise labo babe kakhulu kunalabo manje. Thandazo lesinawo ngoba gonna singakutheorize wena Msuthu, but on the ground it's not easy. On the ground it's not easy. So kubita immaturity lena lesine labaningi singenayo. Qiniso lekuphila nje lisho njalo. And ke kuze kuthi le mindeni yethu itokhosa. uNkulunkulu akente njalo emadrodzeni sibene emadrodza siyabathandazisa. Amen.
Amen. Sasicishe siya ngasekugcineni ku-interview yethu. Maybe can you just give us a word of advice to couples that may be finding themselves drifting apart? Mhlawumbe so much has happened emshadweni wabo. Mhlawumbe even in your case njengoba nishilo ukuthi there was kids and then there was just so many things to take care of in and kwasase kucosta even a relationship yenu nobabili. To a couple that may be drifting apart, what would you say as advice?
Msuthu angathi Msuthu but nje kulenye platform ngalelinye ilanga Msuthu ngiyawusherisha lokho ukuthi our relationship has been through several trying moments. We have some of which we cannot be able to share on air Msuthu, but iqiniso lithi umuntu akambonga uNkulunkulu ukuthi i-relationship yethu has survived one of the most tragic things that can happen in a relationship. And I really we are here because of God. And in situations like those, Msuthu, a small thing can end a marriage. Involve ngane mbamba le ngicale kulolo kuncane ino lencane mbamba le nasingahlala phansi si discuss bese ubuta labantu ukuthi divorceiswe yini nabo abasasisho noma they embarrassed ukuthi si divorceiswe ukuthi lo baba nakachama ushiya umthoyi usedulo uyabona. Because it is possible to leave the real issue le bange conflict bese le lack of communication and conflict resolution kuba ngiyo le legcine nende ukuthi divorce. You understand? I mean, what sparked the disagreement to start with akusikho lokunende nagcina nisayine emaphepha. Lokunende nagcina nisayine emaphepha ngiloko ukuthi there was unforgiveness, there was spite, there was a lot of things, lack of communication, mhlawumbe lo bese ku complicate le situation. Le enkantolo ngeke sakhona kusho ukuthi cha mina ngilami Nkosi yenkantolo ngoba lenza bayacala ukuthi lo make wala kungentela litiya. Yabona? Into le ndika ukuthi mina ngathi emake ngicela ungentele litiya. You understand? Wathi ke yena kimi utenwe natandla. Uyabona? And in both these situations Msuthu, if we are being practical, abengahamba alende lelitiya noma ngakhanuki abuye anginike ngoba sengilicelile kube bede inkinga ngisho. Futhi nami bengingasukuma nasathi ngite intandla bengingasukuma ngiyotendela lelitiya ngibeke linathe iphela inzaba. But the problem is that kulelitiya mina sengi-attach ukuthi shosi lo mfati uyangidzelela kamhloniphi mhlawumbe ngacoca nemsuthu wathi lo mfati akakwendela litiya uyakudzelela. So lokhu ngenti kwakhe litiya akusasele litiya sengi-attach ukuthi shosi lo mfati uyangidzelela uyabona. Naye bamtshele ukuthi indoda le kwendisa litiya iyaku-abuse. Msenda litiya nyalo ngo-2021 emadoda nawo anetandla dawo. You understand? So it is a stupid thing that we have attached so many other things legcine yasenda sasaba se-divorce court. Uyabona lokho Msuthu. So that is one aspect of it. Le ngathi mine ngilento ema-expectations lengisho when I things to legal things ne-lack of communication for the most part of it. Uyabona? Lokho ukuthi mina ngingakhona ichaza ukuthi wena make lo ungakendile litiya lokho ngikwadisile akusilo lelitiya. Lokho singiva ngaso lo ungakendile litiya shothi wena uyangidzelela uhloniphi. Uyabona? Na yakhona echaza ukuthi cha babe nami akusho ukuthi bengingafuni ukwendela litiya ukuthi bekulukhulu kangako yini lo 5 minutes wekwenda litiya. Uthi nje la ngicondweni yami ngithatha ngokuthi wena uyang-abuse lo ungendisa litiya awutendele ingane wena. You understand? So there are small things like those that lead to divorce. And issues like those, Msuthu, my advice would be we need to be able to communicate before sifike la khona sekutama irreversible, because we have hurt each other's feelings, we have said things, we have built on the issue. Sesikhohlwe nalokuthi sacatshaniswa yini, yabona? Nyalo nje lo sokusilwisa nalofika kabuda ngeke sisasho ukuthi uyacala ngenkomishi yetitiya. That would be very embarrassing. uyabona na ufika unotobuta ukuthi ngidivosiswa yini umfati wakho ngathi mina umfati wami akangihloniphi uyangidzelela ngeke ngisho ngithi umfati wami akafuni ngendlela litiya you understand. So there are small things like those and then there are big things Msuthu, there are huge things lekungafana nekwekuthi mhlawumbe kwenza ngisho nokuthi ngithinte ngifika la ndlini ngakhanza ukuthi le ndlu bathi ayisasiyami lo. You understand? Kunetimoleti kanjalo and there are other things letinkulu ukuthi lapha kunesisu la ekhaya mina nje lo mhleti lapha nawe Msuthu kunesisu la ekhaya sakasimelane lo mnengi wakamama uyabona and so sengeke sasigwinya lesisu sesikhona nekwekuthi vele kube ne-infidelity kukhona you understand. That is a different ball game altogether. Lege Msuthu nangabe we have decided to stay together. Ngicela ku-advise kanje. If we have decided decided ukuthi izinto ngiyamxolela bro and we're going to stay together. That is the easiest part Msuthu. Let decision yokuthi ngithi ngiyamxolela is one of the easiest steps that we will take kule journey yethu. Uyabona? The real trial will come when I'll have to wake up ngimvusele unjani inkosi ngisakuthanza esiswini sakhe kuhleli into lengasiyo yami. You understand? The toughest time will come where utawufuna ukuthi abantu bami bebangi-2 sengiyothenga ticathulo for bantwana labangi-3. The toughest time Msuthu will come la khona mina ngitofika kuzinhle njengoba asamithi nje ngithi awungichazele ukuthi kwentekani kanti sengikubuta lokho kwe-60 sengikubuta lo mbuto loyo kwe-67 uyabona udzinge kwekuthi yena aphinze abuyele futhi athi futhi kwekuthi she must be patient because I'm hurting I'm grieving ufuna kwekuthi athi kwekuthi angibuti ngoba ngiyathanza ufike nje sathane namhla wangihlebela kwekuthi la story lakutshela sona kucala silo liqiniso azophinze uyobuta uve kwekuthi ngeke abulenye version. You understand? That is the reality of it. Kunekwenteka namhlabe ngcono usasa abe worse ngoba vele konakele la ekhaya and nami naye futhi Msuthu kutawugcina kufike la khona after 2 years hayi 2 months Msuthu ngivile mos utawufika after 2 years la tawugcina athi khona hana sengiziniwe ngilombuto kanti lo mbuto uyawuphela nini la khaya sukela sona ngicolelwa mina into le yente ka 2 years ago uyabona. That is the reality of it uyabona vele sisengeke sivane like so le patience kwekuthi nyalo ngoba zihle so umjithile sengidabofuna kubuka licingo lakho konke malanga nabuye emsebentini sekufuna libebeke ipassword lo licingo ngoba sekufuna abhide interest leseyihlekile ufuna avume ngithathe lo licingo ngilufunze because I am trying to gain trust that is now lost. You understand? So what I'm trying to say, Msuthu, is it involves a lot in situations like those. Ngoba nangabe nje sowudayisele indlu yami Msuthu angiphinzi ngimthembe ngemali. Donke into sengitabothi sekubhalise ngegama lami la ekhaya noma angakhala athini angisamthembi. You understand? And to build trust that is lost Msuthu will take years, not days. And I must understand ukuthi utawuthatha iminyaka and I will need to be patient in all kuze kukhona lakho kukhona 3 years later Msuthu lento yendeka 3 years ago ngendeka sigcine sifika la khona sisi yathi lento lendeka 3 years ago seyigcina yasehlula nyaka ngangithi ngidawukhona ukucolela but sengiyadiscover lokuthi lokucolela kwami kwakungasiko lokuthi ngithi okay sure ngiyakucolela. There are steps to take. And you cannot do it alone Msuthu. I will need a support system. We understand? Because unfair for naye ukuthi every time I feel insecure ngilibele kuyobombarda yena ngalama questions sometimes uyabona. Sometimes I need to go to you Msuthu konke lele ngibuhletshelwa ngisathane njalo ukukhulume nawe na utongicorrect uyabona. Futhi naye asathi ukuthi hana sekuphele 5 years lento sangayichithi kodwa solo yabamba ukuthi ngabuya nje nga7:30 so ubuya le madodze na
Simelane.
uyabona so ubuya le kusimelane futhi ubuye umcansule naye ukuthi usimelane Nkosi yami ngamgcina 5 years ago sengambloka nalaticingweni but kufuna understand ukuthi nami I'm grieving so it's a process so it's different for different occasions it's different from ukuthi sicatshaniswe iColgate sicatshaniswe ukuthi wena ubese uspenda 3,000 besivumelene uspende 2,000 it's different from ukuthi la khaya kunemntwana lesekufuna simkhulise la khaya wakasimelane la khaya kamama. And because Melana is now in the picture, you cannot tie that relationship. So, but I'm just trying to say it's a process depending on what has happened.
But I guess the easiest thing to do is not to break the trust at all. Yes, ngeke kube foolproof, but to try as much as you can not to break the trust.
Uqedzile msuthu na usho njalo.
Yeah.
Uqedzile msuthu na usho njalo. In fact wena msuthu if you have been there, you know breaking the trust is not worth it. Yes, you know what you will lose. Kuleo infidelity, what will gain from the infidelity is not compared to the damage that infidelity will do to your family.
Yeah.
It cannot compare. And so this moves not just from infidelity in the big way. It moves from small things like indecent friendships, indecent relationships, flirting that should not happen. Small things like those, like I'm telling you, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth all the trouble that you will go through. Now, you are going that route, be ready to lose your marriage. Be comfortable. If I lose my marriage, I'm fine with it. Then you can go ahead. But if you still want the marriage to be sustained, no, it's not worth it. So try all you can. Now, 365 days of money in danger.
Okay. Z, anything to add?
I know msuthu uyisongile wamamba. Uthulule konke wamamba.
But I have this one for you. Any advice to courting youth? Naba sebago relationship. Basese bangane, they want to see themselves getting married someday. What would you say?
Basese bangane, they want to see themselves married one day.
No, basese youth, they are not married, they are in a relationship. Yes, least we say nasisi bangane kutawuze kube bamfana base primary. People that are of age, they are in a relationship and then they would want to see themselves getting married someday. I'm sure there's something that you can, a word of advice for them as well.
I think it's a repetition of things that we have already said. I think from the onset, transparency. And then another thing, Msuthu, if you are in a relationship now, and probably in the next 2 years or less, it's never too late to start saving for that wedding of yours. Sikhulume ngemali ngokuthi imali imcoka emshadweni. Imcoka mbamba such that now ungena emshadweni netikwenete temshado ngokuthi ncamiso afike adle i14 course meal aphume lapho ahamba athi hey kudliwe emshadweni wazinhle kuphele lapho. It is not worth it. It is not worth leyo loan lemadima loto ithatha just for feeding ncamiso. I had to learn mina ngangifuna kamadima kushada ngemaloan, but then wangisita ke wamamba wangangihambisi that route. But nje info lo discover so la khathi lokho ukuthi uyathina sesilamshadweni phela sitawufuna lokudla kwalamshadweni, not the wedding day.
Yeah.
Sitawufuna ukuthi sirente noma sibe nelikhaya. Sitawufuna ukuthi sigcoke. If sititshela ukuthi sitawuba nemfana immediately after umshado, after the wedding day, then sitawugada ukuthi umfana udulile unema-diaper, unelubisi, unetimpahla, unako konke lokho. So do not get into debt just because you want to get married. It is a fairy tale that has been sold to us. Kuba nemshado lomkhulu lomatima. If you cannot afford it, there are easy ways of getting married. Easy and very cheap ways of getting married. I think go for that route rather than getting into debt. Kwesibili, transparency. Be transparent with everything. Uyohlala naye lo muntu 24/7 akangadiscover into thite sekanawe la khathi timvo letimangalisako, because lapho the trust is broken from the onset. Ganzi phela ngikhani sitokuqala lokwatana kahle hle, ngikhani tokuqaleka kahle building the trust kahle hle. You can't break something that doesn't have a firm foundation yet. Angathi ngiyangena emshadweni ngidiscover ukuthi unemfana nalankosi longazange ungitshela ngaye, kanti vele ngisakufunza lokho ukuthi okay, now we were in courtship, but now sesishadile kunetimvo lengingadadi ngawe ngisakufunza. So don't break something that does not have a foundation yet. Yeah, I think that's it. Don't get into debt. So be transparent and be willing to give your all.
So when do we disclose
yourself.
When do we disclose my pay slips then? In the relationship.
I do not have a formula for that. But in our case, we had to do it sisalungiselela umshado. Well, sisalungiselela umshado from well, mama wadisclose i-payslip yakhe ngisesesikolweni mine. Ngisafunza asaqala kuseme. Well, asingayi lapho msuthu. Akadiscloseanga kokuthi ngifike ngidemande yonke le mali. No, we were not there yet. But then the transparency was there. So nami ngathi nangithola umsebenzi sengigraduateile sengithola umsebenzi, I had to do the same because besilungiselela umshado. So we had to discuss ukuthi we saved so much for the wedding, we spent so much kanjalo. For us it was before marriage. I don't know, I don't have a formula. Angeke ngize ngiye ngebalaleli ukuthi this is when you should do it.
Okay. Last but one.
But it is important to disclose nonetheless.
Last but one.
Yeah. No, this is really last but one. Kunebampu labasingil, kunebampu that have been hurt. Would you say you guys, like, what would you say? Do you still believe in? I know that you believe in love, anyways, because you guys love each other. But would you encourage people to still believe in love and family and marriage, relationship, and whatnot?
Yeah, love marriage is a beautiful thing. So to Mbele, it's a beautiful thing, you know. And obviously, we live in a generation matima so where you tubamba also to be yoga sometimes. But yes, I would say I believe in love. Zinhlabe khala isibamthusa kakhulu nakathi uyoshada bathi uyoshada emshadweni mfanami emshadweni. So I mean, I'm not that person who is going to say marriage is a terrible place. In fact, being single is more terrible than being married.
True.
Yeah, it's more terrible than being married. So, but I think the trick is being ready for what you are getting into and ikhona nale theory ke lethi, and finding the right partner also counts. Yes, Msuthu. But love is a beautiful thing.
Okay. But you guys have managed to stay young. I don't know why. Please share your secret. I mean, I was actually looking for your photos to make the poster for this show, and Gutotonge, you guys were just looking so young. I know that you are young, yes, but you look younger than you are. 2 kids later, still I can take you guys to high school and you'd still fit. What's your secret?
Thank you for the compliment, Msuthu.
Genes, Msuthu. It's genes.
Oh, just genes.
So it's well, I mean, so try to be happy in life. Life is short. Life is too short. I mean, when God has given you happiness, celebrate. When you are in pain, you will cry. So don't reserve. Sometimes bantu abafuna nibambane etandla edorobheni nanibambene etandla bathi unathi kwakunjalo wena lapha uthi nawe soyasaba kubamba isandla ngoba usaba ukuthi nase kungahambi kahle but akubona ngoba udaba ungasabamba ngasandla. I mean, when you are happy, celebrate, because when it's painful, you will cry. So, I mean, celebrate your wins. Thank God for the milestones. I mean, one of the things that I've learned is that we complain about everything. I was bengende ama-push-ups namhla ngicabanga Msuthu ukuthi kukhona la bengiva buhlungu ngako namhla kakhulu ngikudiscussa nalo sisi ngihlala kakhe. But as sesicede ukudiscuss, I was doing my push-ups ngicabanga ngedwana ngithi, you know what, I have a lot to thank God for. Sometimes we complain too early about things. When you can hear other people's stories, you'd be in tears. The Bible is whatever you are going through, that you are going through it. I mean, several people on the planet are going through it. What will you do when you get to heaven, Msuthu, and say, you know, because I went through this, and you find people that went through 100 times what you went through, and they still carried on. Nga divorce because I went. I say, I mean, we have a lot. Let's concentrate on what we can thank God for sometimes. I mean, the things that we cannot change, we cannot change. Life on the planet Earth is not permanent. But celebrate your wins and be happy. Try to be happy.
Amen. So we're talking Valentine's Day. How is Valentine's important to you guys? And I do you see any significance to it? Or with you guys, it's Valentine's every day? Ngiyati kona ukuthi wasengutseni but ushilo ukuthi ingutse sometimes kufuna ihle iphuma. So yes, any plans for Valentine's? How is it important to you guys?
Okay. I think for us it's not such a fuss, Msuthu, but sinazashada abantu labasilungu mana Msuthu. So these things you don't just let them slide. Yabona. Nabo Mother's Day bakutshela kahle ukuthi I mean this is Mother's Day, I bore you kids. I mean try something. Noma ke soyangitshela ukuthi happy Mother's Day, you know. It will help. So of course, I mean,
even if she's not your mother.
Even if she's not my mother.
I'm a mother to his kids.
Of course, you see, without going into the background, Expo Valentine Bakamgapi as bad. But now we have a day where we say life is celebrated. I mean, if you have someone that you love, why not just celebrate it? It's not bad. Yes, you are supposed to celebrate it every day. But your life has become too busy. Sometimes you forget to appreciate the person that you should appreciate the most. So what if now they've put a day on you on the calendar where you can actually remember to do that? Why not just do it? So for us, we've always done it. Not in a fussy way, not in a big way. If I think there was a long part of corner stock suite. And I appreciated that because it's not as if go rob a bank, but he was saying, show me that you appreciate me. And that is good. Ungakhohlwa 365 days a year and sebakubekele nelanga where you'll actually remember and meet people wearing red, ubone abantu baphethe ama-roses, bakutshela kusinebantu labathandayo. Nawe uzalukhumbula ke noma sowusend i-SMS ukuthi you are the queen of Querapelas, you are the rose of Sharon, you know. It will count for something. So
under the jacaranda tree.
In the bar.
See, are we getting a stock suite this year again?
Well, Msuthu. Balaleli batawuthi labantu ngiphele kuba later in the picture. Uyathi ukuthi bantwana badlala lichaza lenganani la emshadweni. But in my defense, my husband's birthday is on the 11th of February. So ngashadi balo nawe Msuthu. Uyabo. But in just talks with you won't hurt on the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nelgusha, utsandza ligusha.
Daba neligusha kube nemasi Msuthu. Wasengikudzeni lo babilo.
Okay. Very simple, very simple. No, Bombulini siyabonga for your time. It has been insightful. Gakulu, you handled all the questions that we had for you. Ngendlela nami lebengingeke ngicabanga.
Thank you so much.
But any parting words, Nyalolo kusasihlukana, any parting words that you would like to share to our listeners?
Ngicela kuqala utawusiya uyagcina umuvu lomdzala. Kukhona lapho khona abekhuluma mamba ngase sengifuna kuphawula nganako. Ngokuthi to the young Christian boy or Christian young man, ngoba nangithi boy utawuba offended. To the young man that is looking to get married, who is a Christian, ngiyacela lokuthi i-culture ungayibeki ibe yindlu lehamba embili. Siyati ukuthi sikhule in Africa whereby marriage sibone kuthiwa kubukeka kwangazuthi it is men oriented. Kanti cha. If you are a Christian, do understand that you are meant to love. And kuletha umbane bamvu lapha ekhaya just to serve you and you alone. Kuthiwe konke kubukwe kokuthi kujabulisa wena kuphela. Asikubeke eceleni. Sikhule lapho khona well, in my first few months of marriage, I discovered ukuthi yini ngathi umshado wakhelwe emadvodza. It's all about men. Nanyalo nje baba mamba ucetha kubhekisa ngesisu lengahle ngikhamge naso. Ngesisu le
God forbid.
Ucetha kubhekisa ngasimelane lana ngokuthi lo simelane ebe ngulasimelane ngakuye. Society tends ngokuthi ayibuke kangcono leyo ndlu. Yes, kanti phela it is equally wrong. So there are a lot of things that the young men have seen ekhaya in the background by African home. Lapho khona it is all about me. Asikubeke eceleni sibuke lokuthi when Christ loved us, or when Christ loves us, he also serves. He also gives. Akungabi ukuthi nginika 1000 lakhaya, be happy, be content. And mine lokunye ungagadi kimi. Uyabo. Lokunye in terms of affection, in terms of ukuthi lakhaya ngijajuliswa nginaku nami. let's put the culture mover. See, we are Christians, and how has Christ loved you? Translate that love, the way that Christ has loved you. And as women of 2021, asiyekele lokho ukuthi sibo career woman, sibo ngifunzile mina nginjani noma ngingafunzi noma nginjani. It is not about you. You are there to serve. This is your king. You have to serve him. Be prepared to serve. Young woman, nawungena emshadweni, be prepared to serve. You are there to serve. You are there to give because love gives. Akungabi kunguthi ekhaya kithi mine make wenda kanje, make abamendi kanje. Akusiko khaya kini la kukamama. Serve. Amen.
Yeah. Kubeke ngami ngawe uyaphinza but ke Mr. Mamba, over to you.
No, Msuthu, I think soyisonge kahle lo maki. Love is beautiful. Akuthandwa nini bekunene. Kube mnanzi emhlabeni. I would, once you uvusa luthando, luvuse because you are ready for the long haul. Usho njalo Solomon ngalinyakadisa isikhathi singakefiki, but once you have decided kulinyakadisa ku-31st lapha emsandweni bekunene. It's a commitment, kuyabeketelwa, kuyaxolelwa. iBhayibheli liyavuma ukuthi ukwate kodwa ungona so ukwatile lingashoni ilanga. So uthukuthele. So it's a journey, and one of the things that I've learned is if you want to be a better Christian, get married. Lonke le nonsense legcwele la nhlobo hayi umshado utayikhipha. Umpela uyawuphuma njengaKristu la mshado. Amen. Amen, Msuthu.
Amen. Mr. Mamba, there's something that you've once shared to me. Ngangafisa ukuthi soke uyisharishele balaleli. It has always stuck with me lokuthi umshado nje unesibusiso sakhe sawo lesingakavami. Would you mind sharing that again?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I believe that. I believe uNkulunkulu uyayithanda le institution yemshado, and I've seen God many times where you don't really know where resources akho kuva ngathi mancane to be able to cover tintfo letibitwa i-marriage relationship. But once you get married, God will always provide, because this is an institution like Tanzania. Bible it's one of you will chase 1,000, two of you 10,000. Bible is we would see lababili are better than one. So there is a blessing in a marriage relationship. I've seen that. Ngomsuthu bobabona abantu yathi umnoma behlupheka asethwa nonzile wonke umuntu akashado yakhuluphala phandle kwethu nje Msuthu, but
no nawe awusafani
Ngiyabonga Kasongo.
Yeah, so I mean wonke umuntu akashado yakhuluphala, it means there is a blessing of God in marriage. So I mean it gives you the ability to make more than you could when you were trying. Loko lokuncane kuyanwebeka Msuthu. Kunwebeke. I've also heard people labathi yathi ukuthi mina benginemadlana leningi. Angisho ukuthi be irresponsible and bring umvane bantu into a problem that you are already having. But yathi ukuthi nangabe una 100 rand naye una 50 rand. I mean, don't change the life. Uhlala kule ndlu le urenta ngalo 500, udla lo 500, utawuletha lo 50 rand kutawuba ngcono. There is a blessing there.
Yeah.
You will progress faster. Yes. Ebe asishada ngaba sikho la sikhona khona Msuthu. Nawe ngawahambi ngeLegend 50. Eba ushada. Yeah. Thank you so much.
No, siyabonga kakhulu Bomvuleni. It's been wonderful. Better than I expected. and ngiyethemba ukuthi nebalaleli bethu they share the same sentiments. Ngathi uSinkulunkulu angachubeka anibusise ananzisele. Just to put it out there, you are an inspiration to a lot of us that are watching you. The way leni handlisha umshado wenu ngayo, and ngiko sithi siyathandaza ukuthi uNkulunkulu akananzisele nichubeke nibe ngilesibonelo leningiso. Inkosi nibusise.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you for having us, Msuthu.
Amen. Dear listeners, siyabonga ukuthi sibe kunye kanye kanye kulesikhathi lesibe naso. I am pretty sure ukuthi nawe you had a great time as much as I have. Thank you for sticking it out. I know it's been long, but igege, like they always say, time flies when you're having fun. I hope you all have fun. You all had fun. And I can just invite you, Gutsi, even next week, we'll be having our talk. We will announce Gutsi Stabes Kulmangani, but every Monday we'll be having this talk. Yes, we are a Christian-based organization, but we just want Gutsi si sikhulume timvo leti real na leti practical in our lives. Lesta ukona Gutsi siyoti apply. Ngingabeki nje noma ngingakavuleli ingoma, I'd like to read nalil verse lami. It is 1 Corinthians chapter 13 lokukhuluma ngelithambo njengoba nje all this while this more than 2 hours we've been speaking about love and the importance of love, and I guess dimension lengiyifundzile nje lebe ngathi mhlambe bengingayinaki is that love gives. Love is all about giving. You don't actually look for what you can benefit kulolo thambo, but you always looking out ukuthi wena what can you give to make the ngidawucela kufunza ngana message version bazalwane. It's if I speak with human eloquence and angelic ecstasy but don't love, I'm nothing but a creaking of a rusty gate. If I speak God's word with power, revealing of all his mysteries and making everything plain as day, and if I have faith that says to a mountain, jump, and it jumps, but I don't love, I'm nothing. If I give everything I own to the poor and even go to the stake to be burned as a martyr, but I don't love, I've gotten nowhere. So no matter what I say, what I believe, what I do, I'm bankrupt with love. I'm bankrupt without love. Love never gives up. Love cares more for others than for self. Love doesn't want what it doesn't. Love strut. Love doesn't have a swelled head. Love doesn't force itself. Isn't always me first. Doesn't fly off the handle. Doesn't keep score of sins of others. Doesn't revel when others grovel. Takes pleasure in the flowering of truth. Puts up with anything. Trusts God. Always. Trusts God always. Always looks for the best. Never looks back. But keeps going to the end. Love never dies. Inspired speech will be over someday. Praying in tongues will end. Understanding will reach its limit. We know only a portion of the truth, and what we say about God is incomplete. But when the complete arrives, our incompleteness will be cancelled. Hallelujah. It is all about love, Bazalwane. And as we go about with our lives, as we go about and do everything that we set ourselves to do, let's remember, love conquers all. And without love, we are nothing. Without love, we can do nothing. This is Mr. N signing off. Have a lovely evening, Bazalwane, and we will see you definitely next week with another Real Talk. Amen.
Oh,